So hello, good morning students. I hope you're all doing fine. Okay, so since we have completed our first terminal examinations and now we will be proceeding for the second terminal examinations, we'll be moving up to the next topics. Okay, that for the second termination examination we'll be studying the new topic, that is chapter number 5. So chapter number 5, that is coals and petroleum, and you can refer your test books from page number 56. Okay, so you see, being as a human, okay, being as a human, we use different types of material that has been surrounded to us. Okay, why we use those types of material? In order to fulfill our basic needs, or in order to survive, or in order to live comfortably, like the air that we breathe. Okay, the air that we breathe for respirations, okay, for combustions, okay, for burning, your burning purpose, okay, or water that you carry out, the water that you use in order to bring a complete functions of your bodies, okay, and also water that you use for your irrigations in the field, and the sunlight that you use for the visions. Okay, the sunlight that you use for vision means to see something. Okay, and also the sunlight that you use for the growth and developments of plants, okay, like photosynthesis. Okay, and also soil that is used by the plants and plants in order to grow. Okay, so these are some natural resources that have been present in our surrounding. Okay, and all of these also, there are some resources which are met by the human being. Okay, there are some resources that have been met by the human being. You can you can classify them. What are the material that is made by human being? If you talk about your pen, your pencil, right, your books, okay, your chair, your table. Okay, so what are all those? These are all the material that is been made by the human being. So you see, as I've been discussing about this, you see, we use the various materials for our basic needs, and some of them are found in nature, and some have been made by the human effort. Since all those materials are obtained, all these materials that are obtained from the nature, they are considered to be the natural resources. The resources, the material that are obtained from the natures, okay, the material that are obtained from the natures, we consider them to be the natural resources. Okay, this is now I'm saying I will be assigning the first assignment. Okay, this is the first assignment. You see, now make a list of the various material that is used by you in a daily life and classify them as the naturals and man-made. Okay, that means you have to list a material, at least it should be a listed. Okay, listed of you can say you can list of 50, no, not 50, I'm sorry, 20, and 20 material. You have to list them and you have to classify them whether they are naturals or whether they are human maths or man maths. Okay, so you see, and the best on these resources we'll be discussing. So based on the natural resources, will be this natural resources have been classified into two different types. Okay, now you see in the very beginning I have written this one. That whether, okay, whether this, you see, can airs and water be exhausted by the human activities. Okay, like we are doing all those, we are breathing in, okay, we are breathing the airs, we are using the waters, okay, we are using the soil to grow, or whatever the material, whatever the thing that we're using, whatever the for any human activities, we are using all these three different types of resources. Whether the question comes whether this material will be exhausted or not, means whether it will finish or not. Exhausted means whether it will be finished by the human activities or not. So probably we can say no. Why? Because this material, these resources will never be exhausted. This material will never be exhausted, but still they keep on regenerating again and again, right? So you see, based on this, whether we'll be defining two things. One is what, inexhaustibles, and another is exhaustibles. Okay, what does an inexhaustible resources say? You see, inexhaustible resources are those resources, okay, which are available in the nature with unlimited quantity, means with a very large quantity. You cannot calculate them. Okay, you cannot calculate them, and they are not likely to be exhausted. They are not likely to be exhausted means what? They are not likely to be exhausted means what? They are not likely to be finished. Like your sunlight, you see, if you see the sunlight today, this morning you woke up, right? You will see the sunlight, the same energy that they have given. Next morning, if you wake up, the same energy will be getting. Okay, seen from the forefathers, the sunlight have been giving the same energy, but we never find that less energies, or we don't find that today the bright of the sunlight have been reduced. Okay, or tomorrow more brightness will be there. We don't see this one, right? A constant energies have been providing by the sunlight. Now you see the years, okay, the natures in our atmospheres, okay, there is a sufficient amounts of years it's present. So there is no chance that the nature, these years or sunlights or waters or soil will be exhausted. Okay, but you see, if you talk about inexhaustible resources, if you talk about these inexhaustible resources, okay, if you talk about inexhaustible resources, so when you talk about inexhaustible resources, okay, so when you talk about these inexhaustible resources, what does it say? Those materials, okay, those materials, those resources which are present in the nature in a limited quantities, okay, like in the limited quantity means it may be finished up anytime, okay, if you keep on using those material every day, if you keep on using those material every day, like your minerals, like your coals, like your petroleums, okay, so these are some resources which may end up, which may finish anytime. Okay, we are using them continuously, using the material minerals to produce different types of we are using these minerals, we are using these coals, okay, we are using these coals, and we are using this petroleum. Okay, so we are using this petroleum and we are obtaining from the, obviously from it is from the nature. Okay, we are obtaining all those from the nature, but these materials are going to finish up someday. Okay, we are going to finish up someday in a near future. Okay, so these are some resources that you have to remember. Inexhaustible resources means what? Those resources which is present in unlimited quantity in nature but not likely to be finished or not likely to be exhausted are considered to be the inexhaustible resources. Okay, the exhaustible resources, what does it say? Exhaustible resources are those resources, okay, those resources which are present in the limited quantities, they can be exhausted in the near future. Okay, let's go to the next topic. So now let's talk about a fossil fuel. What is a fossil fuels? You see, the fossil fuels, okay, it is the remains of the ancient life of plant or animal that have been preserved by the natural process. Okay, now when you talk about the fossil means what? You might have heard about the dinosaurs, yes or no? You might have heard about the dinosaurs and like many like dinosaurs, all those dinosaurs, okay, all those dinosaurs have been buried under the earth due to the natural process like your floods or different like floodings or earthquakes or whatever it is. Okay, and all the plants and animals have been buried under the earth. Okay, and this have been for a many long, it had been for the millions of years. Okay, it had been for the millions of years, and they start decaying. Okay, so such types of materials are called as fuels. Okay, but the fuel that obtained from the dead and the decaying of the plant, okay, the fuel that we obtain from that dead and decaying of that plants and animals, okay, such types of fuels are called as a fossil fuel. Some example you can see, some of the examples are coal, petroleum, natural gas are some types of fossil fuel. Okay, under this fossil fuel we will first discuss about the, okay, coal. You see, a coal is a hard stone like substance, generally black in colors. Coals are what? It is something like a stone, okay, but generally it is very hard. Okay, generally it is very hard, and they are black in colors. Okay, some coals are black in colors, but depending on different types of coal, okay, there are different types of colors also there depending upon its kind. Okay, but mostly you will see the coals are mostly in the form of black in colors. Okay, you will find different types of coals also. You see, next is what? Coal is found deep under the surface of the earth. Coal is found deep under the surface of the earth. Okay, so mostly coals are found deep into the earth. Okay, now we're in India. In India, you see, in India West Bengal is one of the major coal mining. Orissa, okay, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, okay. So these are some states where coal mining process is taking place, okay. Now when you talk about in Nagaland, forget about in Nagaland, even in a Mon also, we have a soil called Kongan soil, okay, Kongan soil near the Naganimora. In this Naganimora, okay, you will find a coal field, okay, Koila field. We used to talk about Koila, right? So this coal field in Mon was first discovered by the East Indian Company in the year 1907. Okay, this is not written in your book, but I have write down this one as a general. I have given this one as a general knowledge. Okay, this is just a general knowledge. Okay, so what does it say? What is it in Mon? Since we are living in a Mon, we should know about the coal field in the Mon also. Okay, the coal field in the Mon, the only coal field in the Mon is present in the Kongan village. Okay, and a Kongan soil. Okay, and it is near the Nagdimora, and it was founded by whom? East Indian Company in the year 1907. Okay, so we have to remember. Now we have known that what is coal. A coal is a hard stone like substance which is generally black in. Okay, now you see how does the coal is from? As I already told, the coal is a types of fossils. So coal is types of fossils. Okay, how does the coal? You see, it is about more than 3,000 million years ago. Okay, the earth has a dense forest in a low-lying wetland. Okay, low-lying area. Due to the natural process like flooding, the forest got buried under the soil, and as more soil deposited over them, they were compressed, and the temperature also rose as they sank deeper and deeper. Under the high pressures and a high temperature, the dead plant got slowly converted into coal, and as a coal contained mainly what? Carbon. Coal contain what? Mainly carbon. Okay, remember this one. Coal contain what? Mainly carbon. Okay, so what does it say? You see, thousands, millions of years ago, okay, our earth was not like this. Our earth was mostly, you will see a lot of mountains or whatever it is. But in the very beginning, our earth was it was low-lying wetland areas. Okay, then there was a floods or the different earthquake was there, and many plants and animals was been buried due to the floods. Okay, and with that with that floods, okay, with that flood, okay, now all those floods, okay, so this have been buried all the plants and animals which had been present, okay, which have been buried into the soil, and as the soil deposit over them, okay, they get compressed, okay, and when they get compressed, the temperature got rise up, then the temperature keep on increasing, okay, as the saying deeper and the means, if you go deeper and deeper, more hotter it will be, it means they keep deeper and deeper, the temperature keep on rising. So when they have been compressed under the high pressures, in the high temperatures, under high pressure and under high temperatures, okay, this plant, dead plant, which is slowly converted, dead plant is slowly converted into what? Dead plant is slowly converted into this dead plant is slowly converted into what? Converted into coal. Okay, so remember this one, this coal is mainly contain contain mainly of what? This coal mainly contain of what? It is a carbon. Okay, carbon. And you see the slow conversions of dead vegetation means dead plants and animals into a coal. The slowly conversions of dead vegetation into coal is called as a carbonization. What is it? What is the carbonization? And the carbonization is the process where the slow conversions of dead plants and animals, okay, dead plants and animals to form a coal. Such types of process is called as a such type of process is known as a carbonizations. Okay, so this is what this is a carbonizations. Okay, so this is all about how the coal. Okay, now you see, let's try to learn where it is used. Okay, you see the coal is mostly used in cooking. It is used as a firewood, like a firewood. Okay, it is used for cooking also. But while you use this coal as a cooking, okay, they produce a lot of smoke. Okay, they produce a lot of smoke, and they produce a very bad smell. Okay, very bad smell. So as they produce a lot of smokes, okay, as they produce a lot of smokes, and like bad smell, like smokes means what is it? lot of smokes have been produced. Okay, a lot of smokes have been produced. So when they are producing a lot of smoke, that means what? They are polluting the environment. Okay, that is why it is not advisable. That is why it is not advisable to use the coal as for the cooking. Okay, so it has been converted by the, and it has been replaced by the natural gases. Okay, now when you talk about the next, okay, when you talk about how, where does it use? Okay, now you see, use as a fuels in a railway engine. Okay, in a previous time there was a steam engine. Okay, so in order to produce a steam, okay, in order to produce steam, they use as a fuel in the engine. Okay, they will produce the fires, they will produce the fires. Okay, so they will use in the, as a fuel in a steam engine. Next is what? Used for generating the electricities. Okay, used for generating your electric currents. Okay, used for generating electric current in a thermal powers, and also used for a fuel in a factory like cement plant and brick kilns. Okay, so in order to they are, if you can see, they are mostly used. Okay, these coals are mostly used for what? These coals are mostly used for what? These coals are mostly used for burning purpose. Okay, as a fuel, they use for burning purpose. When you boil something, when you burn them, okay, they'll produce a heat. Okay, with the heat they will boil the waters, or they will boil, and they will try to produce some kinetic energy, and with that of kinetic energy it has been converted, in order, it is being used for some human resource purpose. Okay, so next you see, what are the types of, let's discuss about the types of coals. Okay, so in these types of coal, you see the first type is pits. Okay, so if you try to bury it, okay, if you try to bury some dead plants and animals, okay, and you want to get them as a coal, okay, and it lasted only some 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, okay, then that the dead plants and animals, okay, which has been produced, that is the very, this dead plant, okay, the peat is one of the youngest varieties of coal. Okay, that means that's the coal that we get in the form of pits. Okay, the fall, it is one of the youngest varieties of coal, means it is very new. Okay, it is very new. Okay, they will have a light brown colors. Okay, and it will contain only 50 to 60% of carbon. That means very less carbon percentages are present. Okay, where they will produce with this, they will burn with a sooty flame. Next we have another one that is called lignite. Okay, and the lignite is what? A next stage of carbonation, carbonations of peat. That means after the peats, okay, slowly, if you keep for a long duration again, they will convert the peat into lignite. That means there will be a more percentage of carbon will be present. Okay, means peat will have less carbon as compared to the lignite. And after lignite, they will have a bituminous. Okay, bituminous, and this is the next type of lignite, and it is commonly common varieties. Mostly you are using these types of coal. Okay, like in order to make your, what is that, your man roads, right? Your man road, here we used to say alcatra, right? So it is mainly used. Okay, this bituminous, a kind of bituminous is used. Okay, next is, it consists of many, you see, it consists of many 80% of carbon, means high carbon percentages are present. Next is what? Anthracites. Okay, anthracite is one of the oldest varieties of one of the old coals. Okay, that means it had been buried for thousands of years. Okay, then you are getting that coal. That means it is one of the oldest coal. Okay, so it contains highest amounts of carbon. So how does it? Pit, lignite, bituminous, and anthracite. You have to remember in a sequence wise. Okay, pit, lignite, bituminous, and anthracites. Okay, so pit, lignite, and big lignites, bituminous, and anthracites are four types of carbon. Okay, now let's discuss about the next topic, that is, you see, this is what we call a pit. This is a pig. Okay, this picture that we see, this is a pig. Okay, next then we see this is a lignite. You see somehow it's quite this is quickly a newly formed carbon, and somehow they become blacky, right? Next you see a bit shiny, means it has been lasted for many young and many more long. You see this this is a bituminous. Okay, and this is what we call anthracite. Okay, one of the oldest one. This is one of the oldest. This is one of the oldest coal. Okay, so next you see components of the coal. In this component you will get a coke. Okay, in this component you will get a coke and carbon gases, and coal tar and coal gas. Okay, so coke, you see it is a tough, and it is very tough, it has a hole in it, and it is black in substance. Okay, it is almost pure form of carbon. Okay, coke is a pure form of carbon, and coke is used in manufacturings of steel and extractions of many metals. Okay, coke are mainly used for extractions of metal, like what is that? Extractions of metal, like you can see zinc, irons, copper and tins. Okay, so it is one of the excellence. Okay, it is one of the excellent, is considered excellent reducing agent. It's considered as a reducing agent. Okay, it is also used in manufacturing of water gases also, and it's also used for making the graphite also. It is also used for making the graphite also. Next we have another one that is called a carbon gas. Okay, when you're producing the coke, or when you're trying to produce a coal tar or coal gas, okay, there we produce the carbon gases, and these carbon gases, which is in a dark brownish colors. Okay, and they are in the vapor. Okay, dark brownish black vapors. Okay, dark brownish black vapors. Okay, means they are in the form of gaseous form. Okay, so it consists of carbon, and this carbon gases is one of the good conductors. Okay, carbon gases is one of the good conductor, and it is used for making the electrode. It is used for making the electrode, a positive electrode for a dry cell. Okay, you have a battery in your home, right? So that dry cell, you have a pencil batteries or whatever it is, that is what we call a dry cell, and is used for making the electrode. Okay, so next, extraction of aluminums from the bauxite, the ore that is from the bauxite. We used to get the aluminum from the bauxite. We use this bauxite, it's like this is the impurities ore of the aluminum from. Okay, we extract the aluminum from this ore that is called as a bauxite. In order to extract the aluminum, okay, we use this core carbon gas, okay, to extract the aluminum from the bauxite. Next we have a coal tar. It is liquid, thick and unpleasant smell. They produce a very bad smell. Okay, when it consists of mixtures of more than 2,200 substances. It is more than 200 substances, and it's widely used for making a dyes, different colors, drugs, explosives, bomb, and whatever it is. It is used for making all those things. Okay. Next is we have the last component of the coal is what? That is a gas. Okay, coal gas. It's a colorless gas which is slightly have a foul smell, produced due to the hydrogen. They have a very bad smell. Okay, why does a bad smell is there? Why there is a bad smell? Due to the presence of hydrogen sulfide gas. Okay, so they have a very bad smell. Okay, so it is something like they will produce if you burn the bats that egg. Okay, that the egg that have been spoiled, if you could get a bad smell. Okay, if you get a bad smell of that egg. Okay, similarly that smell has been produced, and that smell is due to the presence of carbon hydrogen sulfide in this coal gas. Okay, and it is used mainly by the industry which is located near the processing plant. That means processing plant means the industry which is located next to the, like you say, coal mining factories or whatever it is. In that types of industry, in these types of industry which is located near to the processing plant, is where the coal minings are there, where the coal productions are there. Near to that, if any industry is there, these types of industry will use this coal gas as a fuel. Okay, so this is all about the coal, and the next video we'll be discussing about the